Hey, Successors, before we get into the show today, I'd like to tell you about my new book, Indulge Your Affirmative Motivation Within, 25 Motivations of Personal Development and Life Success. If you're struggling to stay motivated or just need a little boost, check out the ways that I've stayed motivated over the last few years. Go ahead and go over to Amazon.com and grab yourself a copy. That's Indulge Your Affirmative Motivation Within, 25 Motivations of Personal Development and Life Success. Get it now. On with the show.
Success. Media. Network. Network. Network, 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 network.
This is your show.
Good day, Successors. I'm Antonio Holman, and welcome to the 4 Principles of Success number 68, where I chat with successful people and entrepreneurs about how they enhance their businesses and lives in the areas of knowledge, health, wealth, and spirituality. And if you want to learn how I've stayed motivated throughout the years, check out my new book, Indulge Your Affirmative Motivation Within, 25 Motivations of Personal Development and Life Success, now on Amazon. Today we're talking to Jan Moore. Jan is located in Durango, Colorado, and is the host of Conscious Creating Show on Cosmic Reality Radio, founder of Unstoppable You Academy, creator of the Creating the Unstoppable You Blueprint, and is also known as the Success Alchemist because she teaches a magical combination of personal empowerment, mindfulness, manifestation, and powerful business development methodologies to help you create unstoppable success in your life and business. As well as being the author of Social Media Marketing in 30 Minutes a Day, Dream Achiever Success Kit, Unstoppable Success Strategies, and Empowered Manifestation, Jan's passion and purpose is to help you reach your higher potential by clearing the limiting beliefs that sabotage your success, help you build your unshakable self-confidence, teach you the universal laws of manifestation, and help you apply powerful business building strategies to create the big vision for your life. Jan, are you ready to help our listeners prepare for success?
I certainly am, and thanks, Antonio, for having me on your show.
Okay, Jan, thank you for being here. And you have a very busy introduction there I just read. And
I've been around a long time, so it kind of builds up into quite a portfolio.
Yeah, I see. So since you're so busy, you must have a personal life to kind of relax and let go of everything. What do you do in your personal life?
Well, I love nature. I really believe that nature brings you back into being centered. I love horses. I have a lovely dog I take for walks. It's been a bit of a disrupted year this year because I had a marriage breakup earlier in the year, which has been, it was on my instigation. So I've been enjoying kind of blossoming into my freedom, as it were. So, that's been a big part of what I've been doing this year, has been really rebranding everything I've been doing and really getting clear on the message that I want to give out to my marketplace, So, but yeah, it's really about, I enjoy meeting friends, but nature is my real love and doing things out. And of course, in the beautiful Southwest Colorado, I'm in the ideal spot. I had a lovely bald eagle fly over me this morning while I was walking my dog and deer appearing. So it's really a beautiful place to be.
Wow, you get a lot of good photography out there, I'm sure, huh?
Yes.
What initially inspired you to get into the world of entrepreneurship, and what about it still drives you today?
Well, it's been an interesting journey because I spent over 20 years in corporate IT and really got to the point where I was running a multi-million pound project in the UK for a major retail company. And what was happening was the politics that were going on were really not in alignment with my values. And so I decided that I wanted to get out of the corporate environment. And I actually started a business, which was a franchise in internet consulting. So I transferred my skills from corporate IT and organizational IT development into the world of the internet, which back in 2004 was really just starting to take off from a business point of view. And I also did quite a bit of business consulting for some of the big public sector companies in the UK, like British Council and Department for International Development and so on. But it really wasn't, I knew deep down it wasn't really what I was here to do. And over the period from really the beginning of 2000 right through until about 2008, I was going through the most challenging personal situations with family and all sorts of things. And it really made me completely review and reassess what I was here to do. And I'd been introduced to the law of attraction, which was, like everything I believe in, very synchronistic. And it was a real eye-opener for me to think that in contrast to everything that we've been taught, that we're actually capable of creating our own reality. And this absolutely fascinated me. And I've come from a very logical background. I was very into the sciences, and obviously IT is very logical. And because of my analytical background, I decided I really wanted to understand how this worked. But one of the things I learned was that, you really have to get in touch with your purpose. And when I reviewed everything that I've done over my life, I realized that there was a convergence of skills that really took me into coaching and mentoring, because my interests, throughout my corporate career one was really getting a great business solution for the business. And that was through IT in those days, but also really supporting my team, mentoring my team in terms of not only achieving the goals that were the corporate goals, but also achieving their personal goals. And having homed in on this, I realized, and this was really confirmed over the next few years, that really my purpose was in helping people to fulfill their highest potential, but not in a competitive dog-eat-dog world, very much in a world of collaboration, of manifestation, of conscious business. And so what motivates me really is, it's not a motivation, it's more of a commitment that I feel deep down that this is what I'm meant to do. And yes, lots of challenges on the way, but the challenges have really strengthened my ability. And I know deep down that this is exactly what I have to do, and failure is not an option.
What is it about your focus of the combination of mindset, manifestation, and methodology that helps make people so unstoppable?
Well, I have this belief that everything is connected. And in my experience with clients, very often they'll come to me with one issue. And say, for example, I've had an executive come to me with an issue over his relationship, which as it transpired, as we worked through things, the issue with the relationship was a core issue that was also affecting his career. He came to the realization that this was not what he was really meant to do. He had boundary issues, so it allowed people to push him into something that in his heart wasn't right for him. And so we kind of transitioned from sorting out the relationship, which we achieved in the outcome that he wanted, and then into, okay, well, how can we get this same level of transition into your business life? And this is where the three elements come in, because, in my theory, you can know all the business strategies in the world, but if your mindset's getting in the way, you think you're not good enough, you don't believe that level of success is possible for you, you've had a series of experiences where, you were made to feel unimportant, all of these things that really shape the way that we approach things. If that's in the way, you won't follow through and actually implement those strategies. And again, you can get all your mindset right, but you also need some practical skills in terms of building that business. And instead of using those old school third dimensional principles of action, do everything in action, that actually goes against the laws of the universe and the way that manifestation actually works, and that by forcing action forward, you can actually get in the way of manifestations happening. Because I look at it like, as an ex-project manager, I look at it in terms of a project plan. When you put that intention out to the universe is your project manager. And as a project manager, you realize that there are dependencies. One thing has to happen before something else. And if it doesn't, the whole outcome won't be achieved. So when people are told, particularly by motivational speakers, just take action, any kind of action will move you forward, actually that can sabotage the whole beautifully orchestrated plan, because certain things have to fall into place in a specific sequence to enable that outcome to manifest. So, as I'm helping people with their mindset thing, it's also developing the mindfulness of really focusing on outcome and learning how manifestation works, so that you can facilitate that happening rather than getting in the way of it. And then actually helping people with things like, for example, gaining the confidence of how to approach potential clients, how to work with them in a way that is not selling but is encouraging them to buy, how to set up online funnels and develop a business strategy and focus on your ideal client and develop a value proposition, so that you can really recognize the value of the results that you're providing and not get stuck on undervaluing what you're doing because of some, inner issue of, will people really want this, and is it really doing what I want it to do? So it's that combination, and the intuitive element comes in because I'm also known by clients as the people seer, because I can really home in on what those core issues are and really help people to resolve those by just shifting their whole perception of themselves in whatever the circumstances were that created those beliefs in the first place.
Now, the next question is about belief, because this definitely goes hand in hand. Now, when you're working with clients who want to become more successful, is there one main limiting belief that people tend to struggle with more than any other?
Not good enough. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line all the way. And there may be variations of that. The not good enough is, maybe, as I said, that perhaps they have been in situations where they've been made to feel unimportant, which again is just an aspect of not good enough. If I'm not good enough, people don't recognize me. Or, if I've had situations where I've been kind of humiliated in public, then I'm holding myself back because I'm afraid to be seen again, because that puts me at risk. And that's because I'm not good enough. So, the bottom line is that not good enough issue that so many people have. I mean, there's a statistic that Joe Rubino quoted in the self-esteem book that said, I think it was 85% of people have a self-esteem issue. Well, I actually believe everybody has some form of self-esteem issue in some area of their life, because this is life, isn't it? We go through all these experiences growing up, and nobody has, as far as I know, I haven't met anybody who's ever had a perfect existence with no negative experiences whatsoever. And the younger we are when these happen, the more impactful they are, because we're at a very vulnerable age. Up until the age of 7, our brain state is completely open to influence. It's almost like the hypnotic or the meditative state. And so when we are put in positions where we have a negative experience, particularly created by people in positions of authority, it is so, it has such a devastating effect on them on a long-term basis.
One of your philosophies is that unstoppable success is our divine destiny. Please explain what you mean by that. Those are powerful words.
Yes, I believe that we all come here with a unique purpose, life purpose and soul mission or soul purpose. To me, is fundamental to our existence in this lifetime. And so, we are here to actually achieve and fulfill those purposes. And therefore, the process is one of removing any obstacles that are in the way of that. And this is my belief, is that our soul purpose and life purpose are intertwined, and that the life purpose, the things that we do, provide us with the environment that give us the challenges, or what I call the evolutionary catalysts for that soul mission to be achieved. So what happens is we come here and with certain things that we want to experience, certain things that we want to move from a negative expression into a positive expression. And we can't, we don't change unless we have a catalyst for change. Status quo is lovely and comfortable, and we sit there and we don't make any changes. But when we challenge ourselves to step outside of our comfort zone, we're faced with actually putting ourselves out there, actually doing that despite these beliefs, inner limiting beliefs that we have. And as we move forward in that purpose, we erode those negative effects and shift into a much more positive self-belief. And the importance of the purpose is that when we get to the point, as I said, of really recognizing our purpose, we have the deep-seated commitment that will keep us committed to that path, rather than giving up and going after the next shiny object, and therefore avoiding addressing the challenge that's come up, so that we don't actually achieve that soul mission. So I believe that the universe supports us in that purpose. And so when we hit certain roadblocks, we have to ask ourselves and really tap into the intuition of saying, is this just something that I need to overcome because it's the next stage on my evolutionary path? Or is it because I'm actually not doing the right thing? I'm doing a job that I don't really like, that I've been told I need to do because it's responsible, it's going to pay the bills, but I hate it, and I really want to be doing this because this actually makes my heart sing, it feeds my soul, it makes me full of joy. And so that is the divine destiny of actually living what I call the life of love, joy, peace, and abundance. And so we're meant to be experiencing life in that way. That is our divine destiny. And so it's helping people to recognize their true path and support them in actually helping them to overcome the obstacles in the way, the limiting beliefs, they're not good enough, the skills that they need. And also, I do a lot of work with them on personality profiling. I really believe that the more you get to understand yourself, the more you discover the true nature of yourself, the more you increase the level of personal acceptance and ultimately self-love that makes you unstoppable. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it kind of feels like divine destiny would be quite similar with the phrase, find your passion, That's what it feels like to me.
But I think it's more than that, because, I have a passion for horses. I have done ever since I can remember. But I've known that having a career with horses was never my path. Horses have played a hugely significant role in my life, but they've been teachers rather than being, as I say, a vocation as such. So passion, we can have lots of passions. I love cookery. I love making lovely meals for people, but I've never had the intention of ever doing that on a professional basis. That doesn't interest me. I think yes, one of the paths to understanding purpose is to recognize what makes you passionate, but each passion individually isn't necessarily the end, the the primary path. And what I found that in my 62 now years of living is that everything I've done has always had a purpose. And there comes a point of convergence into the whole picture of what that what that end purpose looks like. So, for example, my years in IT taught me analytical skills, which I used in unraveling the process of manifestation and really understanding how it works. It taught me management skills, which have been really useful in my entrepreneurial life. It taught me planning skills in terms of project management, and obviously, a plan is essential when you look at the outcome that you want to achieve. It taught me how to work with my team, how to develop people, and even though that those elements I didn't want to continue in that environment, all of those skills have added to the portfolio of ways in which I can help my clients.
So as we all know, life is full of ups and downs, and it's a giant roller coaster, and nothing's ever perfect. Nothing's ever perfect, that's for sure. Throughout your journey, what do you feel was that time when you felt most unsuccessful?
That's a very interesting question, actually. And it's a little bit ironic, really, because the time at which I felt most unsuccessful was after I succeeded in creating the Festival of Enlightenment, which might seem a little bit of a contradiction, but that was an incredible experience because I came over here from the UK with my husband, who is now my ex-husband, to create this vision of a festival which was focused around conscious evolution, spirituality, personal development, business, conscious business, and so on. And I approached it from the perspective of a research project in manifestation. And it took almost a year to work on the development of this. And what happened was that we had not achieved the funding that we needed to really make this the size of success that we wanted, and because of the marketing issues and so on, and so the attendance at the festival was actually much smaller, and so we came out of that with absolute financial disaster, basically. But this is where, I want to raise the point of self-judgment, because it's very easy to get into self-judgment about the things that we focus in, that are the areas that perhaps didn't work out the way we wanted them to. But the festival itself, for the people who attended, was the most impactful that they said they'd ever experienced, and it was divinely guided. I have no qualms in saying that, and in fact, because of the situations from a financial and organizational point of view, what happened was the festival became quite fluid in terms of it allowed the space for impromptu events to crop up during the 7 days of the festival. This was held up in Estes Park, Colorado. And what made it different was that instead of having an us and them scenario in terms of, the guru speakers on one side of the camp and the attendees on the other, because it was a 7-day event, everybody stayed at the Y in Estes Park. It developed into this incredible connection and family that develops, where after the day's events, people would collect in the lobby of the hotel, and they would, there would be the speakers, there would be attendees, they'd all build these wonderful relationships. Somebody would come down with a guitar and start a jam session. We had a couple of Native American people. One of them was Heyoka Merrifield, who creates the most incredible archetypal jewelry, and he's had pieces. He's created pieces for some of the Hollywood movies and for people like George Harrison and so on. And he and his he had a friend with him who did some Native American ceremonies, and the whole thing turned into something really magical. And the closing ceremony was where we held a pipe ceremony in a circle, and not everybody, but the pipe would be passed around and people would express the experiences that they'd had at the festival. And at the end of it, we had this clap of thunder out of nowhere, and it was like, I think we've got approval from upstairs. But the thing that, I wanted to highlight was, because it hadn't turned out financially successful and in a way that we'd kind of envisaged, I was very self-judging about that. And that, I think, was the point at which I felt the most unsuccessful. And we went through a period of really struggling. And there's at one point, which was absolutely life-changing for me, and this is really a great story of manifestation, where we literally got to rock bottom of being in a Motel 6 suite. We ran out of money, and the universe conspired for that to happen, because money that was meant to come over from England took weeks because it got lost in the English system, and then it got lost in the US system. So we were literally with no money, no food, no nothing. And, it's easy to get into that ranting and raving and victim mode. And I got to the point of saying, okay, stop. What's the solution to this? And it meant going to the bank, and we'd even sold our vehicle at that time. So we walked to the bank to sort out getting this money into an account for us. And I set the intention before I left the hotel to actually manifest some money. So I'm walking along and I'm looking down on the ground, and it's about a 3-mile walk to the bank. So all the time I'm really focused on, I'm going to find money. And I just got to a grocery store just short of where the bank branch was. And I looked down on the ground, and there was a dollar bill lying there. And I was just blown away, because, you find nickels and dimes and coins on the ground, but when do you find a bill? Because, they blow away, don't they? So I picked this bill up, and I'm just full of gratitude. And I set in my mind the intention, right, I'm going to find a $50 bill. So we go into the branch, I sign all the paperwork for opening a new account so that this money can land. They tell me it's not going to land in there for 3 days. And so I think, right, I'm not going to worry about that. Everything is going to be fine. So I'm walking back, and I just crossed this intersection where there's a Wells Fargo bank branch on one side, and I cross over to the other side, and I look down on the ground, and there's a $50 bill lying there.
Wow. Oh.
I know. So I pick up this $50 bill, and I go, wow, this is just amazing. And we're literally near Natural Grocers where we would do our shopping. And, for me, that was it wasn't about the money. It was about the principle of really shifting my belief system fully into how capable we are of manifesting, and how we are, if we trust in a divine outcome, I trusted that everything will be okay. Even if the money didn't land for 3 days, it would be okay. And sure enough, the divine came through and took care of us. And but that was, I think, that one of the worst periods on the one hand, but on the other hand, I look at it as one of the best times, because those pressures and those circumstances, you either grow and you face the challenge and you move forward, or you give up and say, I'm a victim of circumstance. This isn't fair. Life's tough, and I'm going to run away and whatever. We have a choice in every moment as to how we're going to approach things. And I have now come to through a lot of self-work, through I've come to the position of always looking for the gift in every situation, even if on the surface it looks a disaster. I mean, look at that. How would I have learnt my ability to manifest in that way had I not been in that situation?
What was your most challenging client-related situation, and how did you resolve it?
That's a really good question. I have worked with people who have had major issues in their childhood, to the extent of abuse, physical and sexual abuse. Let me give you one example. Somebody who I didn't work with for very long, actually, but she had a major aha moment. She was somebody who was born very, very intuitive, and she was born into a family of quite fundamental religious people. And she had the ability to really see where people were untruthful. She could communicate with animals. And this family believed that those skills were evil. And they actually put her through an exorcism. And you can imagine at a young age how impactful that was in terms of, instilling a belief in the child that she's evil and putting her through this ceremony, which must have been most traumatic. And what happened was she then completely suppressed her psychic and intuitive abilities. And when we talked through this session, we actually went back and we looked at this situation and said, okay, why did this happen? And getting to an understanding that her parents were just not in a position to understand the skills that she had, and that their fear was what caused them to do what they did. It wasn't that they had power, it was that they had fear, and that her skills were the most incredible skills that, now would bring so much benefit to people. And obviously I can't remember exactly the whole conversation that happened, but what we were doing was actually reframing this experience into finding a different interpretation of it that was actually self-empowering rather than self-negating or self-destructive, if that makes sense. And one of the key principles that I teach people is it's a universal law of neutrality. I call it the power of neutrality. And that principle is that nothing in the universe has any meaning until we assign an interpretation or a perception to it. And so we have the power to consciously choose if we're going to look at that situation either in neutrality because it really doesn't matter, it's trivial, or if we're going to focus on the negative interpretation, or if we're going to focus on the positive interpretation. And it's possible to find a positive interpretation in anything. I mean, I know that sounds weird, if somebody is going through some really challenging situations. But, even if it's only the point that, well, I've survived so far, and that in itself is positive because it shows I have strength and power. And when we come to really practice the implementation of that, we become in charge of our destiny because, the principle of manifestation is when we focus on the negative, we create more of it. When we choose to focus on the positive, we create more of that. So giving people the power to believe that they can choose their interpretation and therefore choose their outcome on a long-term basis, that then gives them the power to apply that to these different situations that they've experienced that have really created the negative beliefs as a result of those traumas.
Yeah, I love those words, and there's so much truth behind that, but there is still millions of people that do not believe that they have that type of power. I experienced it way before I even realized what I was doing. And once I learned about manifestation and the law of attraction and things like that, I looked back years and I was like, wait a second, that's what I did. So yes, it's very, very powerful.
And I also believe, I'm a great, as I said, a great analyst. I really go back and delve into things and look at the circumstances. One of the things that was really interesting to me was this. To me, there is a really solid connection between manifestation and purpose. And by that, I mean that on multiple levels, what makes us have these desires, generate these ideas? For one thing, I believe they're seeded from the universe, perhaps from our higher self, to be ideas that will be linked to our purpose. I believe that our passions are linked to our purpose. And the example I use is going back to the horse scenario. I used to absolutely live and breathe the desperate want for a horse right from way back. And I used to pretend to be a horse. I would look through all the magazines that would, the brochures for horse tack, and I'd look at the ads for, ponies at that time, of course. And, if the law of attraction worked the way the superficial way that's often put out there, I'd have had a flipping herd of horses in my backyard. But it didn't. And I actually didn't get my first horse till I was 29. And then one of the most life-changing experiences for me was when I got my Spanish horse, my Andalusian, which was literally delivered to my doorstep. I mean, that is a story in itself, and I know we haven't got that much time, so I won't go into the detail. But I'd always been drawn to work with very sensitive, high-spirited horses, what we call the hot bloods, and very often with horses that lacked in confidence and had a lot of fear issues. And I realized in hindsight that they were training me in how to deal with fear, how to deal with my own fear reaction to their fear reaction, how to manage my energy, how to actually manifest outcomes. They taught me a lot about the power of visualization, about how if we focus on the danger that can arise from this horse that's about to explode underneath me, which was what happened with my Andalusian, who had a complete emotional breakdown and became extremely dangerous. I rehabilitated him, and he taught me so much about the nature of fear, about staying in the present moment, about managing my energy so that I put out a calming energy for him to reflect, and so on. And the bottom line is that horses were linked to my purpose because they taught me so much that I now use in the work that I do with my clients. And that's why I say I never had the feeling that I was meant to just work with horses as a groom or a riding teacher or anything like that. Those horses were there to teach me the skills to fulfill this purpose of being a success alchemist.
What do you feel was one of your hardest things in your business to overcome that you've since conquered?
Getting clear. In fact, I was saying this on a previous interview I did. The Success Alchemist name only came to me probably less than 2 months ago. And this is a great thing about divine timing, because I'd started rebranding my business last year when I actually took a course on Get Clients for Speaking, which is a brilliant course run by a lady who is very into the more, the spiritual metaphysical. So it's very much in alignment and not just, put a hard marketing message out there. And, I've been really, I wouldn't say struggling, but not completely happy with how I was presenting myself. It didn't really seem to encapsulate all the different elements of what I do. On the one hand, it was, I have clients, as I say, that call me the people seer. So I use that label for a while, but it seemed that did encapsulate the mindset work that I do, but it didn't really include the business side of it, and really the manifestation side of it. And I was working on really getting my stuff, finish the rebranding, get it out there. And then in September, I was planning to launch a new mastermind program, and I dropped my laptop. And it got sent away to Dell. I was without it for 3 weeks, and I really couldn't do a great deal because even though I had an old laptop, it just wouldn't perform for me. And then just after I got it back, I was inspired to actually, with the name, The Success Alchemist. And I thought, yeah, that's it. That's the word. And I talk about divine timing because if I charged ahead, got this mastermind thing out there in September, I'd have still been doing it under a name that really wasn't the right name for me. And so, just to have got to that point after 7 years has been a major watershed for me. And I now feel absolutely comfortable that the Success Alchemist is the right thing. And I've had great feedback from people who I, put it to. This is the new name. What do you think? Oh, yeah, I really love that. So I think this is the thing. It's one of the biggest challenges to actually get your message right. How do you express in a very in a few words, what exactly is the value that you're getting? What is it that you are doing? And I think many entrepreneurs struggle with that in terms of how to express the value in such a way that people will get it.
Yeah, I really love your name as well. When I was going through the notes before the show, I was like, wow, that's a really cool, it's innovative. It feels innovative and it says a lot. Yeah. I think it's it does encapsulate a lot. And I still do some web development and internet marketing alongside or as part of what I can do for clients. And I decided to change the name of that as well to the Web Alchemist. So that ties in with the overall umbrella of the Success Alchemist. So what one thing in your business are you currently struggling to overcome?
I think, everybody goes through these, we all have these core issues, and if we were over them all, we wouldn't be here any longer because, part of a huge part of why we're here is to experience this, this soul mission as well as the life purpose, and to really address what it is that we're here to achieve, address the issues that are stopping us. And, as a child, I went through a lot of personal challenges. My father left us when I was 7. I never saw him again. My mother was very focused on just literally keeping food on the table and the roof over our heads. So I had experiences of really not feeling important because my mum, bless her, just didn't have time to give me and my 2 brothers, who were quite a bit older than me, the attention. I had experiences of being humiliated as a very, very young child in school that really started me in on the belief of being not good enough, of being stupid. And so, I have addressed a lot of those, but it's very much a case of peeling off the layers of the onion. I've addressed a lot of issues that I had around scarcity because of the lack of money that we had when I was growing up. But I think, everybody carries fear of some kind, and sometimes it's, fear of being seen is very fundamental. So, the last year has been, for me, very focused on getting my brand out there as an individual, because my ex-husband kind of wanted us to be joined at the hip, which eventually just didn't work for me. So that has been a challenge to get that finished, and then to actually get to the point of going out there with confidence you making yourself really visible. And I think a lot of people struggle with that, particularly now when, you can go on Facebook Live, you can do YouTube videos. I know many people that just have no problem in terms of speaking on a one-to-one basis or even in a group situation. But when it comes to sitting in front or standing in front of a video camera, this whole wave of self-consciousness comes in. And so I think, as always, it's recognizing where you still have these issues that are coming up, bubbling up to the surface, and really recognizing those and working through them. And, that is I very much focus on my own development, my own work, inner work, because in my belief, if I don't do that, I'm not fit to teach other people to do it. I have to walk the talk. That's something I'm absolutely passionate about. It's not to say I'm perfect, I'm not, but my fundamental belief is the more I work on things myself and experience these things myself, the more I can help my clients to overcome things. I can have empathy for them and help them through these things, and use techniques that I know have worked for myself in the past.
What do you feel is your one biggest business triumph to date?
I don't think there is any one thing. I think for me, it's every time I work with a client who gets a major aha moment that really changes them completely. It gives them this major shift. Those are my triumphs. That it's the results that I get with other people, because that then, if I can make my clients successful, that makes me feel great. And of course, as a byproduct, I am successful. When I see people that have struggled for years with self-doubt, they've carried this belief that they were stupid. I've got one client that I work with who turned from, almost the mouse who not that she didn't stand up for herself, but she didn't believe in her ability to succeed. She couldn't find the right thing that she wanted to do. And she's now doing something she absolutely loves. And she's also become an activist in certain respects, which is a huge change from where she was before. And, success is different for different people. Some people see success as having a really successful business and making lots of money. Other people don't have that aspiration. They see success in other ways. It might be, having the ability to stay at home with my kids and, nurture them and have a great relationship and do something that I really enjoy doing that sustains me, but doesn't necessarily make me a millionaire. And if I can help people to achieve their vision for themselves, that to me is my greatest success.
What do you feel is your one biggest personal triumph to date?
Overcoming my fear, overcoming my scarcity, overcoming a lot of the programming. I just, it's really interesting. I read A Course in Miracles some years ago, and one of the things that A Course in Miracles says is that there is no order of magnitude in miracles. If you can manifest something small, you can manifest something big. And one of the biggest challenges, I think, is to undo that programming that we've had that is so much based upon three-dimensional science, as it were, that says the only way that something can happen is, you work really, 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 really hard and it's all down to you, etc., etc. Well, the experiences of manifesting the $50, that helped tremendously to overcome my own fear of scarcity, and manifesting many other things along the way that have really taught me how to trust and how to believe in the process, that of manifestation. And that to me is the biggest triumph, because when you get to that point, I'll still have some doubts coming up about the possibility of some things, but now I'm able to correct that very quickly and just remind myself of the many times that manifestation happens so beautifully synchronistically. And many people fail to recognize a manifestation when they see it, and the more we recognize how things have converged into making that thing possible. And yes, it's about acting on inspired action. It's about seeing the opportunity. It's about seeing how things have come together. It might be that, you set an intention to do something, and then the ability to do that comes through some money arrives that gives you the funding, and that particular thing becomes available to you just at that perfect moment. So my personal triumph is really about my own mindset, my own belief system, my own continuing evolution. And it's a very joyful path even through the challenges.
Hang tight, successors. We'll return to our conversation with Jan Moore, as well as quick success after a word from our sponsors. Are you a tense, tired, busy person who works day in and day out, who tends to lack the proper sleep and energy? Using modular supplements, health-related articles, recipes, life hacks, and more, Bellison can help. With quality as high as Bellison, you're buying from a company that cares about the environment and only uses premium vegan supplements. That's Bellison.com. Want to learn how to cook healthy, exercise, and meditate in just 30 minutes a day? Bellison.com. Want to feel healthy, energetic, and focused like me? Bellison.com. To receive a 10% discount at checkout. Whoa, hold on. Now receive even more health benefits with a 20% discount at checkout. Go to Bellison.com with the coupon code the4POS to get your 20% off now. Visit Bellison.com. That's Belisan.com. Compassion and quality without compromise. Bellison.com. Are you tired of trying every new diet fad? Sick of the pills, shakes, and vibrating belts? Are you just sick and tired of being sick and tired? Linda Lavender knows exactly how you feel. That's why she created Eat to Live to Love. Eat to Live to Love is a personalized mentoring program 100% unique to you. With 24/7 support, learn to shop smart, save money, eat clean, and find your purpose using the tools and resources you need to achieve real weight loss and transformative healing without ever having to buy another gimmicky fat-sucking wrap or magic protein shake. Eat to Live to Love has been the driving force behind people across the United States to not only change their lives, but to actually take back control. Find out how health coach Linda Lavender can help you become your own hero and transform your life at eattolivetolove.com or call 1-888-440-9795 for a free initial consultation. Stop just dreaming about success and make it happen with Eat to Live to Love. Visit eattolivetolove.com now. That's eat, the number 2, live, the number 2, love.com. Eat to Live to Love. Healing, weight loss, and fitness. And we're back with author and success coach, Jan Moore. Now we get into the part of the show I like to call Quick Success, where you, Jan, can inspire the successors to enhance their lives in the areas of knowledge, health, wealth, and spirituality. Jan, what are you currently doing to enhance your knowledge?
Oh, I'm always reading and learning. I came across a book recently by Martha Beck, I think it's called, which is the author, which is Find Your North Star. And this is very much about tuning into what feels right for you and following that path and really discerning when you're presented with, a decision point, what actually feels right. I'm actually reading again it's Napoleon Hill's Course in Success, and that's a kind of deeper it's got like 16 lessons on success principles, which is a deeper examination of Think and Grow Rich, and that's because I'm putting this mastermind together, and Napoleon Hill was a great proponent of the mastermind and the third mind, which is how getting people in a group stimulates the ideas and creates these, brilliant insights into things. I also constantly study the business side, marketing, particularly online marketing and so on. So I'm a sponge for more knowledge. I believe in, I've got so much more to learn. What's the next thing that's going to come along that lands in front of me for me to follow up on and learn from?
What are you currently doing to enhance your health?
Well, I've adopted a ketogenic diet since March, and I've given up sugar. I've given up alcohol. I know that's a bit of a stretch for me because I do enjoy a glass of wine, but I actually decided that I wanted to do a bit of a detox. And I actually lost my Labrador in August to cancer, and I'd read about the ketogenic diet before, and I got in touch with a guy who has been researching ketogenic diet for dogs for the last 15 years. He has a website called longlivingpets.com. And I'd also watched the Truth About Cancer series a couple of years ago. And I realized that how damaging sugar is. And there is also research that's been done to show how beneficial the ketogenic diet is, which is a high-fat diet, is on brain conditions. People who have suffered from seizures, who have adopted a ketogenic diet, have actually seen improvement in the issues that they've had with those seizures. So that's my current regime, very low carbs, no sugar, good fats, and I've lost about close on 30 pounds actually since March. So, and of course, I enjoy walking my dog, so we do 3 or 4 walks a day. That's some of the exercise. I would like to do more, but and that will no doubt come later when I've maybe in the new year.
What are you currently doing to enhance your wealth?
Well, I am currently, really working on adding new services to my business portfolio, adding new products, actually providing those products to more people. I have a lot of things that I'm currently cataloguing. The branding side of it has really been a major step, as I say, because my ex-husband and I were not only connected domestically, but also in business. So I've had a lot of revision to do in that area. But it's really about, under the Success Alchemist brand, really being able to express to people how I can help them and gain more clients and actually get my different products out there. I have a book, Empowered Manifestation, that is on Kindle. It's got 5-star ratings on there. I also have the other things that you mentioned. Unstoppable Success Strategies is going to be a part of the mastermind group. Dream Achiever Success Kit is available on my website. I have many other gifts to offer that are just exercises for people to do that can really help them to, either improve the business. I've got exercises on value proposition, on client definition. I've also got exercises on how to uncover your passion and purpose. I've got little reports on the kind of personality profiles that you can take for free that will give you more insights into your own personality and what your preferences are and how that impacts on how you live your life. So I'm really, constantly developing new things that I really believe will help my clients in all these different aspects of their life.
What are you currently doing to enhance your spirituality?
Oh, that's constant. One of my key things is that manifestation, is only possible when you have become evolved consciously. And this is my constant focus. There's a big difference between spirituality and consciousness. And this was something that very much was highlighted to me in the days of organizing the festival. There are a lot of spiritual people who claim to be spiritual out there who are not conscious, who have not worked on the mindfulness of consciousness. And, what I teach is that to become the master manifester, you have to develop up to the 5th dimension. And what I mean by that is in the third dimension, in that third dimensional level of consciousness, we're very reactive. We don't realize that we're in charge of our thoughts. We don't realize that we're in charge of our emotions. We allow everything outside of ourselves to determine how we behave and how we react. We don't respond, we react. And, if you look at all the reality TV and the soap operas and everything else, they're actually encouraging that lack of emotional control, lack of conscious response to things. And when I say emotional control, I don't mean suppressing emotions. I mean consciously recognizing a situation and choosing how you're going to respond. It comes back to this power of neutrality. The fourth dimension is where you really start to recognize the power of thoughts. It's really part of the awakening that's going on now. The power of thought, the power of the feelings that accompany those thoughts, and also your power to consciously determine what thoughts you are going to allow into your consciousness, how you are going to feel, which is what is going to be of greatest benefit to you. How are your thoughts and feelings going to serve you? And recognizing when there are thoughts and feelings that come from issues that need to be addressed and resolved internally. And then the more that you become aware of that, the higher you raise in your ability to consistently maintain that higher consciousness of being in charge of your thoughts, focusing on outcomes, not problems, manifesting your desires. And the fifth dimension is literally where you can manifest just like that. But you can't be allowed to do that until you're conscious of what you're manifesting, because otherwise you end up, if you're still lost in those negative thoughts, just think about the disasters that you could manifest. So when you get into this fourth dimension of that interim point, you learn to be conscious of what you're manifesting, and the universe, bless it, it has a built-in delay. So instead of instant manifestation, which is fifth dimensional skills, you're allowed to kind of really review, well, what is it I'm manifesting here? Because that actually wouldn't be good for me at all. So you're given a bit of breathing space to reassess before that negative manifestation actually appears. So, that's my focus on really working on recognizing when things come up again, and okay, I'm not going to judge myself. This is interesting. I obviously still have something to deal with here, and work through it and then move on to the next level. And I have to say, if I look back to perhaps 2008, which is where I started, that's 9 years ago now, the distance I've traveled is immense, and I'm just enjoying the journey, and actually at the point of saying, bring it on. I love going through this process and seeing how I can get to the next level.
Wow, that's very deep. That's good. That's good. Deep spirituality. You talk about the fifth dimension. That's pretty good. Are there any modern technologies or apps that you use to help you achieve success?
Oh, yes. And in fact, I'm going to be writing a blog post shortly on my favorite tools. One of the things that people have a lot of problems with is time management. And I use it's actually online. It's myhours.com. And what I do is I'll set up, if I'm working on a particular project, like developing a new product or something like that, I'll set up a project and specific tasks, and then I can actually track the time that I'm spending on these. And this is great when it comes to if I'm building a website or something. I can see how much time everything's taking. But the other thing it does is it actually keeps you focused on that task rather than getting distracted. If I might think, I'll just pop over and do this, I think, oh no, I've got my timer on, so I need to stick with this task so I know how long it takes me. So that's a really good one. I use Google apps, and one of them that I use is Insightly, which is a CRM system. And both of these that I've mentioned you can get for free. Obviously, for Insightly, if you want to use it for a team, then you have to upgrade to a paid membership. But as an individual, you can use Insightly for free. And what that gives you is a CRM system, so you can track your leads, your opportunities, and pipeline and everything, typical CRM stuff. But it also has an element of project management. You can manage your tasks in there. You can set up activity sets. So if there's a specific process that you repeat every time you do something, you could actually set that up as an activity set so that you can mark off what you've achieved. I'm a great believer in mind maps. I brainstorm, the structure of the books that I do, of the blog posts that I do, of the online courses that I do. And I use, again, a Google app, MindMup, MindMup. And actually, you can get these independently of Google. You don't need to use it as a Google map. If you, I think it's mindmup.com and insightly.com. You can just get a free account without having to tie it to your Google account. What else? Obviously, I use email marketing tools like MailChimp. I use social media tools like Buffer. The reason I like Buffer is that you can time your posts across, all the major platforms. But you can also set up RSS feeds. So, if you want to be posting in your Facebook page useful information that isn't necessarily all yours, you can set up an RSS feed to other blogs that are of interest, and then in that feed you can select the ones that you want to post onto your own Facebook page. So that's a really useful one. I could go on and on here, couldn't I? But that's a selection of ones anyway that might be of help to the listeners.
What new thing, book, activity, technology, or skill are you really excited to learn and dive into?
I'm actually very excited by this cryptocurrency thing, because again, one of the things about success is we're still living in a money dependent culture at this time. And so, we have to work on our financial success as well as, our other successes. And I've been led to the opportunity that the cryptocurrency market has. And, I'm very aware when something comes to me from different directions, it's a sign that I need to pay attention. So I'm no expert. I have a couple of friends who've been really learning this for the last 2 years, and I'm about to jump in, I think, to invest in the cryptocurrency market under their guidance. But I think there's a lot of change coming in the financial infrastructure, the whole financial system, that may surprise a lot of people. And I think one of the things is the cryptocurrency. So that's something that I'm excited to learn more about and at least jump in with if not in at the deep end, put my toe in the water.
And Successors, Jan has an offer for you. She has a couple offers for you. Jan, what are those?
Well, if you go to my website, which is thesuccessalchemist.net, that's the Success and then Alchemist, ALCHEMIST.net. You'll see my offer to get a copy of my Dream Achiever Success Kit for free. And also I'm offering people a free success strategy session. So if you'd like to spend an hour over the phone or over Skype, it doesn't matter where you are, or even over Zoom now, and enjoy a session with me and really experience the kind of breakthroughs that you would have when you work with me. You can also go to thesuccessalchemist.net, and if you scroll down the homepage, you'll see a button to apply for a free success strategy session. And I did mention earlier Empowered Manifestation. I have a bundle available at the moment, which is the Empowered Manifestation ebook, and also a prosperity meditation and a few other goodies as well that I give away. And that's at empoweredmanifestation.com.
All right, Successors, you heard that. Those two offers are available at thesuccessalchemist.net, the Dream Achiever Success Kit, and the free success strategy session. Jan, how can our listeners connect with you?
Yeah, well, they can get to me through the successalchemist.net website. I have a contact page. They can also email me, jan@thesuccessalchemist.net. They can find me on Facebook. My page is facebook.com/Unstoppable You Academy. I think that's right. Do a search for Jan Moore. You should find Jan Moore, the Success Alchemist, come up. I'm on Twitter as Jan_Moore. That's MOORE. Pinterest, Unstoppable You Academy. I'm out there. So, the best way is either through the website contact page or through jan@successalchemist.net.
Finally, Jan, what's your definition of success?
It's really achieving what is in your heart, your vision for your life. And for me, it's achieving that while doing no harm to others. Unstoppable success doesn't mean, running railroad over people, trampling other people in the rush to get to that success. It's not a Black Friday scenario of, I've got to get that TV set and I'm going to push you out of the way. This is really about becoming unstoppable internally and doing whatever you know in your heart to be your greatest desire and your dream.
Successors, I hope you've enjoyed my conversation with Jan Moore. Please check out more successful free content like this at the4pos.com. Rate, review, and do not forget to subscribe wherever you find your podcasts. Thanks for listening and prepare for success. If you want to do more, earn more, be more, and stay more motivated, visit Amazon.com right now for a copy of Indulge Your Affirmative Motivation Within, 25 Motivations of Personal Development and Life Success. Get it now at Amazon.com.